Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Championship Rounds podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Taj and Dan. On a very slow week of boxing this week, actually. Jack Catterall against Regis Prograis, probably the pick of the bunch. 12 rounds, £140, and the winner likely gets the world title opportunity next, or within the next sort of year or so. Hudson, I struggle to get excited about Jack Catterall fights, and I used to get excited about Regis Prograis fights, but it looks like he's a bit over the hill, damn.
Yep. I mean, he's definitely over the hill. I mean, he hasn't looked really that good in a long time. And
It's been like 5 years since he's looked.
yeah, and like this opponent doesn't help me with the style that Jack Catterall has.
Makes it worse, actually. Yeah. I think he's gonna look even worse. Honestly.
Because I think it's a better like matchup for him than Devin Haney because Devin Haney has the size and he was like 165 on that night. And I do think Jack Catterall gives you more opportunity than Devin Haney, but still, I mean, he does have that style, that boxer style. Although, I mean, in Prograis, he does do better. He seems to do better. He seems to be like pretty good against southpaws rather than orthodox fighters.
It's weird.
Like, I mean, I know he lost against the best southpaw he's fought, but I mean, a lot of people had him winning that fight against Josh Taylor. And I've scored the fight for him a couple times, and that was really close.
It's one of the closest fights I can think of in recent time.
But I mean, he bad and stopped in Dongo. I mean, he stops at Pater. Obviously, he had a great fight with Josh Taylor.
Flanagan.
Yeah, beat Flanagan and dropped him
Yeah.
in the quarterfinal of the World Boxing Super Series.
Red
I mean,
Cat as well.
he just does. He's just good against southpaws. But he was a much different fighter back then. Because I see people that are saying because they see like clips. I think this was a quote tweet on your uh, Prograis Taylor video actually. There was like where's its like head movement and stuff gone.
He's just stuck in like mud when he fights.
You know where it's gone, and you know what made it go. I mean, age, like age.
He's
I mean,
35. He's 35, yeah.
yeah, his legs gone, reflexes are gone. I mean, he used to like his head used to move like all the time. He's like really elusive on the
His
inside.
upper body movement used to be like pretty damn nice.
Yeah, it was constant on the inside moving. Like obviously he's not Henry Armstrong, but that's the way he moved like constantly like a Henry Armstrong was coming forward.
I might want to watch that fight back today. The Taylor program, but yeah, this is nowhere near the same fighter, and it seems like Jack Catterall is like he's not he's not regressing, but he's not like improving really. He just fights really the same fight over and over again.
Look, I mean, well, Jack Carroll, he is what he is.
That's the definition of him. He is what he is.
And currently, it's one of the best fighters at junior welterweight. Somehow, not champion. Hasn't been a champion. Should have been a champion.
Yeah, I don't see this fight being. I feel like maybe it could be competitive, but
Look, well, I do think that it's gonna be more competitive than most people think because Carroll does give you
opportunities to hit you. His defense isn't like supreme.
because like look at the Taylor rematch. I mean, he looked really good in that. Won like 9 rounds, but I mean, he still gave Taylor lots of opportunities to get inside and work. Taylor did some. I mean, Taylor was much better than the first fight as well.
I don't know, man. I look at Jack Catterall as he's the epitome of a first gear merchant. He doesn't have any other gears. This is the issue with Catterall. And I really think this is going to be a terrible fight. Catterall will just be happy. He's going to be happy there, picking up rounds and winning easily and not really getting himself in danger. And Prograis' feet are going to be way too slow. And it's just going to be a dreadful fight to watch, in my opinion.
Could be reminiscent of the Linares.
Honestly, I watched like the first 3 rounds of the Linares fight and turned it off.
I don't know why I sat through that whole thing, but it was horrible.
Like, if you're not stopping at 2023 Jorge Linares at 140 pounds, like what are we doing here? You know the last time Jack Catterall stopped someone with a winning record, by the way?
Not this decade.
It was on the undercard of Josh Warrington against Lee Selby.
Okay, so 2018.
Yeah. That's the last. He's had one pocket win since, yeah, against Oscar Amador, who was 10-17, and that was in 2019 on the undercard of Dubois against Richard Lartey. God.
He hasn't. I know he dropped Taylor, but it seems like I can't think of him hurting.
He dropped Barafoli a couple of times, I think. Yeah. Dropped Barafoli twice.
And he was deducted a point after one of those knockdowns.
While he's on the floor, he did the same thing to Taylor. He just didn't get the point deducted for it.
It just... I don't know, like, Catterall's like, obviously a good fighter, but I've just got zero interest in what... Like, there's no redeeming factors there. I don't know, maybe I just haven't forgiven him for making me sit through like, O'Hara Davis fight years ago. Because that was genuinely one of the worst fights I've ever seen, and he got very lucky to get that decision anyway. Like, I thought O'Hara won that fight pretty clear. But it's just... I don't know, man. Catterall's going to win, and he's going to win pretty easily. And it's going to be a dreadful... You remember the Cody fight a few years back? Or last year? Against David Light, when you're having people film like streams of people running out the arena halfway through.
Yeah, so every Cody fight.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that happened again. Yeah.
I think Prograis is gonna have some success. I think he should lose. Like the logic tells you he's going to lose against this style and this point of his career and what we've seen from him in the last couple of years.
He's kind of just plodding around, waiting for like an overhand left to land, and it just doesn't work. He can't. He doesn't deal well with people with like good footwork in that move at all.
Like back in the day, he could have, because he had the reflexes and the movement and the athleticism to deal with it. But now, it's unlikely that's going to happen.
It's just, yeah, not brilliant. A decent fight on this undercard, or actually, I assume we're all picking Catterall to win a boring decision, or a decision anyway. Not necessarily boring in your case, Dan, but everyone's picking Catterall decision, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9-3 probably, something like that. Could be wider.
I want to say it's going to be closer, but I think Catterall's going to win.
I'll predict they'll be turning my TV off at about round 6. And then be checking box rate about an hour later and seeing Catterall via UD. for a good fight on this undercard, it's actually a very good fight, I think. At a very good fight at British level, Reece Bellotti, Michael Gomez, they're both very flawed defensively. They're flawed fighters, obviously, being at this level. Both can punch a bit, and I think that would be a really good fight that I think Bellotti will get on top of quite late on. But yeah, I really think that would be a good fight. I think it'll catch fire.
You know, I mean, we put on a lot of these great fights at British level that you have to either be like a hardcore boxing fan or be British to appreciate them.
Yeah, for the most part, I love them. When there's a British title on the line, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be pretty damn good.
Yeah, because I mean, we see them. We see them a lot, like these matchups, and they deliver a lot of the time, and they're really fun to watch. I mean, they might not be the highest skill level, but they deliver in action.
Yeah, they're good fights.
And I mean, if you know Michael Gomez Jr.'s dad, then you know what Michael Gomez Jr. is about.
I think the
The Alex
20,
Arthur fight,
the Alex Arthur fight happened 21 years ago.
yeah, that's one of the best British fights ever.
It's on this day tomorrow.
And I mean, he's already been on the list.
Yep, they both have.
Michael Gomez, man. Michael Gomez. It's blast from the past, isn't it? Jesus. Yeah. There's nothing much else not on the card. Like, it's pretty barren. There's.
Oh, man, you forgot about the best fight on the card, the Campbell Hatton James
God,
match. How could you forget that?
what I'll say about Campbell Hatton, he gets a lot of sort of abuse online for being this gimmick. And it is what it is, but he takes the sport seriously. He trains. He's just not very good, and he can be in fun fights at that level. But I've got no interest in his career.
Look, I mean, he tries, and that's good enough for me. Because I mean, he can't really help being who he is. He can't help that they were sticking him on pay-per-view fights so early in his career without giving him any development. And now
they stunted him.
now they stopped doing that. I mean, he has improved since like he started, and that showed that he, like Tucker said, that he does train and he takes it seriously. Apparently, he changed all his like training and stuff.
Yeah, he's gone to Ben Davison. He was
Yeah.
with his uncle, now he's on to Ben
Yeah,
Davison.
it was with Matthew, and well, that could work. I'm not entirely sure how that Ben Davison style works with his style. I don't think it will, but considering how Ben Davison fighters like to fight, on the outside, lots of feints, and Capan fights like his dad on the inside. That's gonna be weird.
You know what the funniest thing about this is, by the way? Jimmy Joe Flint, the opponent, just lost to Kyle Boyd. So he beat Hatton, they just let him go and get beat, and then offered him the rematch, which is quite funny.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's done it once. He's been confident he can do it again.
So maybe he thinks the first time was so nice.
Yep. Pat McCormack on hyped up Olympian, 29 years old, hasn't fought in 18 months. My God, what a wasted career. Because he's actually quite talented, but my God, he hasn't taken, like, it's just another one of these guys that's a decent Olympian, it just does nothing as a pro. And that's about it on this card. There's a few other guys, Janae Boston, like, yeah, Woodkey and Frollo. God.
Yeah,
There's about 4 gimmicks on this card.
Well, going back, I think Flint's gonna win again.
I want to say that I feel like if it's gonna be close again, that they're not gonna give it to him. Though.
Yeah, but it wasn't really close. The first fight wasn't really
I'm
close.
saying maybe it'll be closer this time.
Well, he needs to do more, and like with the Ben Davison style,
I think
it's
I
not.
think it'll
It's
be
not
better.
about doing more, and he's not exactly a crazy defense fighter where he's gonna hit, not get hit. Like, it could just be a bit of a nothing fight where you're trying to implement a new style, and it just ends up being terrible. Flynn can't do much. Han, I mean, he's not got used to the style yet. Can't really do much with it.
It's weird that hadn't fought. Like he hasn't had like an in between fight either.
Yeah, he hasn't. He hasn't fought since he lost to Flint. So it's just he's been trying to learn a new style in the gym. Don't know how long he's been with Ben Davison.
Not enough, not long enough.
Because it's not too often where, because this is the most important fight of his career, where you change trainer for the most important fight and it ends up being good. Doesn't happen too often. I mean, it can happen, but it doesn't happen too often. It's very risky. Because, well, even if he loses, I mean, he's still fine because he's a Han. He'll still get opportunities on these cards. Like, he's not going back to pay per view, but he'll still get opportunities. People want to buy him. And, well,
Yeah.
well, McCormack, he's stopping his opponent.
Is he?
Obviously. Yes, he is.
Is he?
He just
Yep.
jinxed it, so he's not.
He is.
Pat McCormack is it's just pointless. Like, what's he been doing? Like, just
He's been on a good couple stoppages. I mean, against no one.
yeah, about 2 years ago. Like, this is the point.
Who did Herrera get? Who did Herrera get stopped by? Oh, it was Paddy Donovan, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe he's gonna want to try to do better than Paddy Donovan.
he did bet. He did win in that Donovan fight, though. Like, he hurt Donovan early, if I remember correctly. But who knows? There's really not like I just don't care about this fight. I like the Reese Bellotti fight, but the rest is just really not good.
Well, I mean, I don't mind winning Crawler. He's okay. Maybe that's just because I like Anthony Crawler.
Probably. Marat Gassiev is coming back on Saturday on an IBA Pro Champions Night thing against Ken Lundquist, I think you pronounce it. The IBA Pro fights are so strange because they're sort of professional fights, but they're not. And a lot of these guys in them, especially from the West, aren't really trying. You can tell they're treating it as like a spar, and it's just really, really weird. The whole thing, the whole environment's really, really weird. They've got this tie-up with the WBA, which is really weird. Just like, what's your opinions on it? Just in general, you two, like this IBA professional thing.
I don't like it. Honestly.
Well, I mean, I don't really like watching their cards. Like, considering a lot of them aren't really pro fights. I mean, they don't get put on box rec. I just don't care for watching it unless it's someone I want to watch, like Gassiev, or the Cuban card,
Right.
or Bath Gaziev, or some Uzbeks.
Yeah, but the Batagazia thing, like, they've got these WBA titles on their cards where they're real pro fights, but then they're mixed in with other fights that aren't real pro fights. It's so weird.
Yeah, but I mean, even if they had them on box rec, that WBA stuff wouldn't be on box rec anyway.
Annoyingly, I can't stand that shit. It's so annoying.
Like, more boxing is fine, but I mean, yeah, they really do just feel like sparring fights or amateur fights to me.
And that's not what I want to watch.
Like, there's some good cards. what's his face? Carmona had a good fight on there the
against
other day.
Dusmatov.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was the other. Yeah, no,
It
yeah,
was
I know what you mean.
It was Zorov against
Yeah,
Kazakh.
he fought Dusmatov earlier this year.
Daniel Carmona.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Like they can be good fights, but most of them they're just run of the mill. What's the point? Fights. And it's like, do I really want to spend hours watching this? Not really.
I don't really like. Because Gassia, like it's nice to see Gassia, but he's fighting like a nothing opponent after a year out. Like it seems like every fight he has, no matter how long it goes, he's gone for a year. So it's just
Like I'm watching Gassiev. One, because he's been one of my favorite fighters since he beat Lebedev, and two, because I'm just hoping he comes back, which he won't, because if you can't beat Otto Wallin, then you're not doing much in the heavyweight division.
He
You're
should
gonna have
be at featherweight.
yeah, because like since he moved up, he's been in the 230s, but then he lost a lot of weight against Wallin. He was 216 against Wallin. That's a bridge weight. Maybe he shouldn't have lost all that weight. Actually, no, that would have been stupid. He was chasing air anyway. I don't know if he was 20 pounds heavier.
nearly 240 against Balogun.
Like,
That
if you're going,
Balogun fight was fixed, wasn't it? That was the really weird one.
yeah, probably. But well, I guess he does punch hard. But yeah, probably.
Yeah, but like punches have to land by the impact.
Well, maybe Gassiev's punch. He punches so hard that even
You
when it
flop.
doesn't hit, it just falls over. Like Seldon against Tyson. Uh, Malik Scott against Wilder.
But yeah, Michael Sislak is back on Saturday as well, fighting Felix Valera. Sislak should be getting a title shot soon. I'm not going to go into it massively, but that's just a little noteworthy thing out in Poland. And Omar Trinidad is fighting Hector Sosa. Sosa knocked out Jazza Dickens quite badly a couple of years ago. They're fighting an IBF eliminator at featherweight. But yeah, there's really not much else on this week. So do a little bit of the news, I guess. Inoue Goodman was announced for New Year's Eve. Takai doesn't have an opponent. Jin Sasaki's on that card. Shima Miyachi's on that card. Like there's the normal Okashi gym names on that card. But yeah, I think we discussed this fight before. But how do you see the Goodman fight going?
Quickly.
Well, it's just the same as a lot of the rest of his fights. Probably going to go similar to the Dahani fight. To be honest.
You do not want that.
But I'm excited. I see he said he's gonna come in lighter. He's not gonna rehydrate as much. I've been waiting for this day.
How much was he like rehydrating before? Like nearly 20 pounds.
Well, he was 238 against Dahani. I was 16 pounds. And he was 233
233.
against Fallen.
You're not underneath.
Wait, no.
133.
133. He was not 233. He hasn't put on 100 pounds.
No, but he looks like a completely different person in the Fulton fight compared to like the Tapales fight. He's just like two completely sized fighters.
Yeah, because look.
He needs to be more fast, which the power will come. You can't just have power, then you just lose all that speed that he's known for.
Look, I get that he's fighting bigger guys and some of them are punchers. Want to take it. Want to take that power battle. But like power isn't just power. Power is speed. And you can have all the power if you want, but if they see the punch coming,
They can
they're more likely to take it. Like, why do you think someone like Mike Tyson will get more one punch knockouts than someone like George Foreman, who punches harder because he's so much faster?
I just, yeah, I honestly, this is Inoue's worst opponent. Well, not worst opponent, but this is the opponent at 122 that I see the least likelihood of him losing. If that makes so, I'm going a roundabout way here, but the Henny fight, the Henny had that one shot power where you think if like Inoue's going to dominate in there, but the Henny can land the shot. I don't think Goodman can land the shot to take Inoue out, and I just think this is a total mismatch.
Well, I mean,
Like the worst one at 122 so far. Even though Goodman beat the Henny was more dangerous because of that power.
because even if he does land a shot, I mean, he doesn't hit hard. It's
Yeah,
not
this is
gonna do anything.
yeah.
Because, I mean, like, he can't outbox anyway, and he can't outfight him. So basically, what are his odds? Well, I mean, what are his chances? A freak injury, body shot maybe. That's about it.
I was thinking body shot, but no.
But yeah, no, this is
This is
really
this should just last around 3 to 6 rounds, 3 to 8 rounds, like somewhere in the middle.
I'm like, well, because he's like fighting these big guys, so they need a bit more breaking down. I mean, he's not just gonna blow through them like he was doing at the lower weights. So
but yeah,
probably like
like
6 or 7, like
probably.
Doheny, especially if they're like in survival mode, sort of.
Goodman's defense is just so bad. It was so bad in his last fight against the Thai kid. Like it's just not. It's not up there. It's not up to scratch.
Yeah, because you see, Ohashi and Top Rank have that free fight plan for him, where he's gonna fight in December against Sam Goodman. He's gonna fight in Vegas in April, probably against MJ or Casemiro. Then Junto in December at the Tokyo Dome.
I'd say that with a pinch of salt because it's Top Rank saying it.
Yeah, because whenever, I mean, I'm pretty sure they said they had a plan for him last time in like 2021, and that didn't happen. But then again, that was the pandemic, so I'll let them off.
Yeah, like with Inoue, his promoters are Ohashi. Ohashi call the shots. Ohashi, like they're the ones that are running things. Like Top Rank can say what they want, but it's not up to them.
Because I mean, I see some people saying that they think the April fight in Vegas is going to be against Junto. It's not.
Yeah, there's no way.
You think Ohashi and Mr. Honda are letting that fight happen anywhere outside of Japan? You are an idiot.
Yep.
Because well, that would easily sell out the Tokyo Dome and a bigger stadium. Like 55,000, probably not enough for that fight in Japan. That's how big it is. And that's obviously going to be on pay per view. And the last pay per view fight Inoue had in Japan, he sold like 200,000 buys. Imagine when he's going to sell against Junzo.
Ridiculous. Wait, what fight was that?
Can't
That's
remember.
Marinus or something.
Might have been.
Yeah. There's a weird promotion for that fight. I think. I don't know. Not Daz Marinus, the other one. The Afan.
Yeah, the
The
Pion.
Pion.
Yeah, that was on the was it the PBX cards or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah, yeah, but he's selling 200,000 buyers against Aaron the Pion.
Yeah. He's
Like he
doing.
might hit 1 million or more, to be honest, because he is a superstar in Japan.
And in the ways, Nakatani's not exactly a unknown guy either.
Like I mean, he's not a superstar, but he's very known. One of the most popular fighters in Japan. And
Yeah,
there's some good domestic fights on this card actually.
the
I mean,
well, the Jin Sasaki one isn't so good. Shoki Sakai, like he'll just get knocked out. Like he's not very good.
Yeah,
Being honest,
Sakai's never been knocked out.
but
yeah, but he's never fought Jin Sasaki. Like Jin
exactly,
Sasaki
which
has
means
stupid power.
but which means he has a chance of dropping Jin Sasaki before he
Yeah,
gets knocked out.
Everyone
yeah.
does.
Look, Sebastian Naoya versus Kyle tournament. That's a good fight. When isn't Sebastian Naoya in
Yeah.
bad fights? Good fights.
Who did he beat? He beat Suzuki earlier this year. I remember watching that. Stopped him in a round. But yeah, there's these good domestic. It's a bit like we've had multiple discussions on this, the Japanese domestic level. It's so good. Like Shima Miyachi on this card, he's the Japanese super bantamweight champion, fighting Misaki Hirano. Um, Shima Miyachi will probably win this fight, but like looking at records, like it's a huge step up for Hirano. But Shima Miyachi is a very good fighter, and like he's the type of guy that's going to sweep up one of these vacant belts when Inoue eventually does go north.
Yeah, and
Like
Hirano, he just beat Han Sol Lee. Taj, we know Han Sol Lee.
No, we know some hands.
We know Han Sol Lee. He was in the list a couple of years ago. Crazy fight against one Jin Lee.
There's also this Kobayashi Takada fight for the Asia Pacific title. You got Takada, who's ranked number 2 for WA, behind Dusmatov. With his if you like look at his record, you think he's like way worse than he actually is. But
Kobayashi's a good fighter though. Beats someone behind that.
But Takada, his record 15-8-3 doesn't look great, but he's on a 7-fight win streak.
This to me looks like Ohashi is sort of buying that ranking.
Well,
To me, anyway. Yeah, it's fine. It's just like it's a sport, but like that's to me. It looks like that's why this fight is being set up like that because he's got a high ranking that they want for their guy. So to do that, but yeah, that 3-fight plan for Inoue, like I don't see how like you can get them on the same card in April because Junto is meant to be fighting in February anyway. Like he's fighting in February, so like that's a hell of a quick turnaround.
well, it depends. I mean, if he has another quick fight, maybe, and then he fights in April, then he can have a while off, and then fight Inoue in December. It's unlikely, but there's a possibility.
Maybe.
It all depends on who he fights in February. Because I see people saying that Junto was going to fight on this card, and he was just never going to fight on this card.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Never in a million years. Yeah, Ohashi fighters or Inoue cards are strictly for Ohashi fighters. Like, yeah, but Jin Sasaki isn't, but he's got the same sponsors as Inoue, so yeah.
I like the card.
I do as well. It's nice.
It's gonna be a good card.
Especially if Sakai gets a decent opponent, but we'll have to wait and see.
Doesn't sound like he's gonna have a decent opponent.
Well, Vietnamese guy, Raymond Gabayo. Hopefully, it's neither of those, and it's I don't know. bologna, Tanjin, maybe Chocolatio. Who knows?
Who knows? But I have to say, um, a bit of other news this week. Um, Noel Gever, what you doing? Pulling out another fight against Ryan Rizzuki. Probably should be stripped at this point. He's pulled out like 3 or 4 fights with him. And Gever's fighting Yamil Peralta on December 7th for the interim title. And Peralta beat him first time. I don't care what anyone says. One of the worst decisions I've seen. Ryan Rizzuki did not win that fight. So yeah, that's a bit of cruiserweight news. What a waste! That belt over the last few years is just been a waste of time, honestly.
Makabu Jack Gilmore.
Makabu had 2 or 3 robberies throughout his reign.
Yeah, he should
Um,
be Slack or Chunu.
he didn't beat Sislak. He didn't even beat Alexei Papin, by the way.
Yeah,
Before
that was close. That happened.
He didn't win that.
like maybe the knockdown won him the fight, but
That's what I was. He dropped Papin in the 12th round, I think.
Yeah,
But
but I still don't
He's
think he
like
won it.
they dropped each other in the. You see, they try to get the Makabu knockdown off the internet.
Sislak beat him.
yeah, didn't you drop him?
They dropped. I just said they dropped each other in the fight.
Matuni beat him. Then he loses to Badou Jack.
Stopped my body, Jack.
And then it's just not brilliant, but yeah, and yeah, that belt's just a mess right now. There's literally really not much to talk about. Vladimir Shishkin's requested a rematch, but that's nothing. That's not going to get anywhere because that was a perfectly legitimate decision. Just a terrible fight.
I mean, I have no idea if people are watching this fight. I'm seeing that everyone's calling it a robbery. Are you watching the fight? Are you just seeing a guy fighting, terrible, on the back foot, and you're just saying, yep, he definitely lost.
They were both terrible. They both hardly landed in the thing. It was just terrible, and that decision was perfectly legitimate. Let's stop. Let's just stop this nonsense.
Anyway, who cares who should have won that fight or who won that fight?
Just feed into him, Billy. If Shishkin wants a rematch, he should have to go and fight Osos Iglesias for it. There you go. Fight Osos Iglesias in a final eliminator. Do you want it?
Look, maybe he should have done more in the title shot he got, and he wouldn't need a rematch.
Yeah. But anyway,
title shot to do nothing. Definitely didn't land the over 100 punches that Combi Box said you landed, and you could have won.
Terrible fight. Yeah, there's really not much else this week. Don't know if there's anything you two want to bring up.
It's pretty bleak this week, but
nope, just ending it on Alexander Usyk is the man.
He did look crazy with that Hitman.
Look, that Hitman stuff. Yeah. Look, there is Alexander Usyk, then there's the rest of the boxing world, as far as I'm concerned. He runs boxing.
All right, we get it. You can feel his aura. We got it.
Look, who can't?
Right, but before this gets a bit out of hand, yeah, thank you for listening to this episode, episode 13. Literally, there's nothing happening this week. It's boring, but we've managed to just start scraping episodes together. So yeah, thanks for listening. All the links are below and all that, as they always are. But yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you in episode 14.